1 or
2 to 1.
Okay, it's not all the time. Okay, it's not all the time. As you could see, it's very variable here. Okay, it's variable. This is the only one which has almost 2 clear beats before the QRS. This one probably the one that has almost 2.5. This 2 beats that is very clear in the ECG. You could see the P waves here very clearly. Now, what do you think about this? What is it? Math. Mainly math. Okay. So you could see what's the things that's fundamental for math? Multifocal atrial tachycardia.
That's 3 different types.
The P waves, different type, different morphology. The other things are rate of the tachycardia. The rate of the P waves is more than 100, and there are 3 different morphologies at least. The PR interval might be variable depending on the focus of the atrial tachycardia. Okay, you could see different P waves here and there. Which one, sorry? Yes. Yes.
There's 4 codes
Yes.
for the previous ECG.
Yes.
Now we can collect 4 codes.
Whatever, by the way, very important point. If you have more than 5 findings, more than 4 findings, don't put more than 4. Okay? If you put more than 4, I've just met the people who put the exam. He said that if you put 5 findings, you will get 0. Okay? Only 4. That's number 1. I know, number 1. Number 2, you go for this. This is the previous one. So what are the findings here in the ECG? Apart from just mitral, multifocal tachycardia. Definitely you find a lot of these things in the ECG. So, what kind of things here that might be applicable here?
A variable AV block.
Variable block. What other things? Huh? It is. It has to have. There is some variable wave block here. Okay? You could see the P waves here, P wave here, there is something in between. So sometimes you have 2 P waves, sometimes 3 P waves and so on before. So this is not the only one. This is not a complex, I don't memorize this, but I'm sure that you will find a lot of things that you can put it in the okay? Next. AVNRT. So before you put AVNRT, this is narrow complex or wide complex? Narrow complex. Is there any clear P wave or not?
No.
No P wave. What are the P waves? Huh? Pseudo R and pseudo. We call it pseudo R and pseudo S. Everybody's. What is that? Sorry. Pseudo R and V1 and pseudo S and V2. So it's not very typical one because the P wave location or the timing of the P wave in the SVTs and the AVNRT specifically is a little bit variable, and I will show you different relationship between the P and the KRS in those patients with AVNRT and AVRT. What is this? Why AVRT? Why did you say AVRT? You should not commit yourself in the AVRT unless it's really very clear. Okay? So the RP is still within the acceptable limit, within the 80 milliseconds. The beginning of the P starts within 80 milliseconds from the QRS, so you cannot say this is 100% AVRT. So it's still a possibility of AVNRT. So you could see the pseudo R and the pseudo S as well. What is this? Narrow complex tachycardia. Do you agree? Is it sinus tachycardia, atrial flutter, atrial tachy, AVNRT, AVRT? What is that, sorry? Atrial flutter. Why did you say it flutter? Is there any clear P waves that comes with the flutter waves? Okay. Let me see if there is any clear P waves. See, concentrate on this one. What is this? After the KRS. Okay, that's what we call it simply pseudo R. And what about this? Pseudo S. So these are the things. Why I brought 3 or 4 SBTs with AVNRT. What about this? Same thing, narrow complex tachycardia with different kind of presentation. Okay, what about this one?
The same.
Still the same. There is inverted P wave after the QRS, and there is a P wave immediately after the QRS here. So it's not a complex tachycardia with a relationship between the P and the QRS. That's it's not clear for you to say is it AVRT or AVNRT. At least you could say there's not a complex tachycardia, most likely AVNRT. What about this one? What is it? W. Somebody say WW here. I just heard. I don't know. Okay, it's not delta. There is no delta here. So what do you think? Again, why did you say AVRT? Still, what do you think about the beginning of the P? Where is the P starts after the KRS? It starts immediately within the KRS here. So it cannot be AVRT, okay? Unless it's really right side. What about this one?
This is AVRT.
Is it 100% AVRT? Don't commit yourself. What are the findings that you could put it here in this? The electrical alternance, one. Is it sinus tachycardia? Who says that sinus tachycardia? Who can say that? It's not sinus. Why? It's inverted. Atrial tachycardia, possibility. What are the other possibilities? Flutter, is it a flutter? Is there any flutter wave? Is it true flutter wave here? There is only 1P, 1P, 1P after each KRS here. So it doesn't go really with the flutter waves here. What are the other? Same we said that AVRT, atrial tachycardia. It's not, definitely it's not sinus tachycardia. Can it be AVRT?
Yes.
It can be, but very, very, put it all down on the list. Okay? Why there is electrical alternance here? Somebody just mentioned electrical alternance.
Fusion.
Okay, what is it?
Fusion.
Fusion. Is it 100% fusion? AVRT sometimes present with electrical alternance. Okay? AVRT. With the using
But it is
exocytic.
orthodromic, antidromic, if it is AVRT.
What do you think is this? If we say this is AVRT, do you think this is antidromic or orthodromic?
But over here written antidromic.
Yeah, this is orthodromic basically. Okay, so it's going the integrate through the AV node, probably backward through the exocytic. Yeah. So this is the relationship between the P and the QRS and the narrow complex tachycardia. You could see the P wave after the QRS. Okay, the relationship is always there, but you have to look for it. Okay, don't say that there is no P wave. Always there is a P wave in the narrow complex tachycardia. And here's just an example after you give adenosine for this patient. This is AVR, for example, and this is lead 2. If you give adenosine, you will see the P wave comes just before the KRS. Is this another example here, V1 and V2? See P wave here. This is the same ECG that I showed you a while ago. I just mentioned that this is the small one is the P wave. Okay? It happens that the P wave just immediately came before the KRS after giving the adenosine. So just another example. This is a P wave after adenosine is coming before. Now, what do you think about this? This is a patient who came to the emergency with this kind of tachycardia, and you gave him adenosine. What happened here? And how can you tell me, is there any P wave here or not? Do you see a P wave in the first one? I'm not sure which lead is this, but let us say this is the rhythm strip of lead 2, for example. Huh?
Yeah.
Pseudo S. How can you see this? Do you see the difference? See, this is the before and this is after. Okay, if you compare, this is after and this is before. So you have to look for the end of the KRS during tachycardia. Okay, especially in lead 2. What do you think about this? Narrow complex tachycardia. Is there any P wave or not? Now we are clear that there is a P wave, huh? It's very clear. And V1 and in lead 2 as well. Pseudo S and pseudo R. Now, this is a patient who came with this ECG in the emergency. And you gave him adenosine. What do you expect to see? Sinus, probably, then sinus. So, he's sinus. So you are sure that this is 100% AVNRT. Okay. Now, what do you think about this? Narrow complex tachycardia. He came with palpitation. AVRT, AVNRT, AVRT. What are the other possibilities? Is there any other possibility? Yes or no? Atrial tachycardia. Is there any other possibility? Flutter, atrial flutter as well. So all of these you have to keep in mind when a patient comes to you with this kind of ECG. You give him the adenosine. What happened here? Atrial what? Atrial what? Atrial what? Atrial tachycardia. Why did I say atrial tachycardia, not a flutter? The baseline here, you could see the baseline is straight. Between the P waves, there is a straight baseline. In a flutter, it's a continuous activity. You could see the P waves just taking the whole way from the beginning to the end. Okay, I will show you the atrial flutter in a while. But this is atrial tachycardia. So the beginning of this slide shows that probably you are dealing with narrow complex tachycardia and you don't know what is it. So adenosine is being given just to get the diagnosis. What do you think about this? Flutter. Are you sure 100%? 100%? No, definitely. So we give the adenosine and tend to be a flutter. Okay, so if you give adenosine, you get the sinus rhythm, or flutter, or atrial tachycardia. Okay? These are the kind of ECGs that you are going to see in the exam. Okay? So what do you think is this? Wandering baseline. Huh? Wandering baseline. Okay, that's one of the things that's been written in the papers. Huh? Yes. Baseline artifact. I may disagree with you. There is no clear artifact here. I'll show you the artifact later. So what do you think? It's another complex tachycardia. Try to figure it out. Figure out the ECG before you put the diagnosis. Before you just define it. It's narrow complex tachycardia. It could be AVNRT. Okay, you could see some kind of. You have to imagine sometimes there is a P wave after the KRS and V1 and V2. What do you think about this? Again, narrow complex tachycardia. Always put the broad spectrum, narrow complex tachycardia. Then try to figure out what is it. Okay? So there is narrow complex tachycardia. There is no clear P wave that you can swear on, but this one looks a P wave after the KRS. Okay? So what do you think about this now? Sinus. Who said sinus? Okay. So atrial tachycardia. Why do I say atrial tachycardia? An inverted P wave where? Here. So you could see the inverted P waves. Okay, and it's very clear. So do you call this long RP or short RP tachycardia? Long RP. Okay. So what are the differential diagnoses of long RP tachycardia? Okay. Atypical. Always keep it at the end. In my life, almost 20 years, I've seen only one case, or maybe two. So it's always keep it at last, atypical AVNRT. So the accessory pathway is the atrial tachycardia is probably higher. Okay? So these are the P waves. It's very clear, negative. Okay, so what do you think about this? 2 to 1. It's 2 to 1. 3 to 1? Why not a complete table block?
No.
It's not a complete table block, is it? Variable block, huh? Okay, so variable block in somebody with sinus tachycardia or what? Atrial tachycardia. So probably this patient has fast rate in the atrium with very poor P wave. AV node. So that the conduction through the AV node is weak. So therefore you will have the fast tachycardia in the atrium, and if you just match the QRS R to R is not the same. So from the first look, you may think about that this is a complete AV block. Okay, so what is this? Again, try and train yourself for the broad spectrum description. This is narrow complex tachycardia. So if you say that narrow complex tachycardia, then you have to think about a few things. So what is the relationship between the P and the KRS here to start with? Almost 2 to 1. Okay, so is it a flutter wave? Does it really look as a flutter wave here?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Yes.
Okay, I do agree with both. Okay, so still a possibility that this is a flutter and very unlikely to be a flutter. Okay, so it's more likely to be AT, but the rate is still faster than the usual for the AT. Despite having said that, the atrial tachycardia might be fast. Okay, might exceed 250 sometimes, but it's in a very rare situation. So here, all what we can say that it's 2 to 1, and probably atrial tachycardia versus a flutter. Why I'm saying that? Because it's not the typical flutter wave. Okay, I'll show you the flutter wave in a while. Sure, definitely. So whenever you have the criteria, just fulfilling the criteria, you have to keep it in mind. You have to add it to the findings, but you should not exceed 4 findings. Okay, what do you think about this?
Flutter.
Flutter. Okay. Flutter with? Is it variable block?
No.
Is it variable block? 1, 2, 3 QRS. 1, 2, 3 QRS. 1, 2, 3 QRS. Continuous. Okay. So do you think it's a flutter or atrial tachycardia here? If you look for this only, you may say this is atrial tachycardia. But if you look into the inferior leads, you could see that it's more toward the flutter wave rather than. And I'm sure that if you get in the exam, you are going to get a clear flutter wave. Okay, what do you think about this? Matt, is not atrial fibrillation? Are you sure?
Yes.
Sure. Yes, yeah, sure. Or yes,
Sure.
no. Okay, yes, sure. Right. These are the P waves. Okay, different morphologies. The rate is as fast, and the PR interval is variable here. What do you think about this one? Broad spectrum description. What is it? It's narrow complex tachycardia. Try to start from there. Then you have to figure out exactly what is it. So somebody said flutter. Why did you say flutter? Is there any clear P waves? The flutter waves here in the pyramid? What is this? This is a inverted P, the relationship between the P and the QRS and the AV0T probably. Okay? So you can see the P waves here in the V1 and the P waves in the lead 2. So number 1 is not AVRT. Number 1 is AVNRT. Why is it that? Because the beginning of the P starts at the end of the QRS. Okay? It's within the 80 milliseconds, within 2 small squares. What do you think about this?
Narrow complex tachycardia.
Atrial fibrillation. Who agreed on atrial fibrillation? Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a narrow complex tachycardia or not?
Yes.
It is narrow complex tachycardia, but it is atrial fibrillation. Somebody said some important point here. This is the one, huh? Okay. Everybody knows Ashman's. Huh? Is it there in the Ashman's phenomenon? No.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about this? Start with the important thing. Is it sinus or not? Sinus rhythm. Huh? Apart from the it's not a complex, but is it tachycardia? No. It is some borderline. Wait, WBW. Do you want to go for the localization? Huh? It's not in the exam.
This is left posterior septum.
He said left posterior septum. It is left posterior septum. So we have a lot of WW now, and we will go for it. So, patient is complaining of palpitation only. Now this is his ECG.
Broad QRS.
Broad QRS complex. Do you want to shock him?
See blood pressure.
See blood pressure. Sedate. Sedate. 12 leads. This is the 12 leads. Okay, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. What do you see here? Flutter. It's a flutter, but the P waves are really very big here, so it's just resembling almost the QRS and the VT. Okay? So whenever you have a rhythm strip, I showed you just only a rhythm strip which you do see in the emergency. Always ask for the 12 leads. Okay? For the 12 leads, it should show you what you are dealing with. Okay? You don't sedate, you don't shock, unless it's really needed. Wait. What is this? Sinus rhythm, صح ولا لا؟ Sinus rhythm, sinus pulse. Sinus arrest. Okay. 6 sinus. كلها يعني working حول الساينس. طيب. في حاجة ما ذكرتوها اللي موجودة هنا في آخر واحدة sign exit block but does not work. Okay. طيب how can you tell me this is not sino-atrial exit block? So you agree all that this is sinus rhythm to start with, صح? And the sinus node is not functioning well. And if it's not functioning well, you may deal with sinus arrest or sinus pause or sino-atrial exit block. صح ولا لا؟ But how can you figure out is it sino-atrial exit block? We take the 2PP, okay, double P or triple P or quadruple P, whatever. Then you just make the measurements and you see is it really longer or shorter? It's not. So it's shorter than the PP, the two double PP. It's longer than, so it's not a sino-atrial exit block. Okay? It's not really that. Well, saying arrest means that you are going to talking about very long. Okay? It's still sinus pause, prolonged sinus pause. I think would be a reasonable option here.
When we say normal sinus,
Yeah.
sinus goes.
Well, you could say that this is sinus rhythm, but it's not normal sinus. I don't know what's written there, but this is not normal sinus. Sinus rhythm is good, but yeah. Sinus goes, yeah. And there is a baseline artifact here, you could say. What do you think about this?
This is one kebab. Second degree.
Sinus rhythm.
Sinus rhythm.
أيوة.
Sinus rhythm.
أيوة.
2 to 1 block.
2 to 1 block. 2 to 1 block. Where is the 2 to 1 block? This is not 2 to 1 block.
Sorry.
This is not 2 to 1 block.
This is one forward.
So there is a group beating. So the group beating. Group beating means that we are dealing with mob type 1. Second degree mob type 1. Son?
I mean 3 to 1 wing kebab.
ما في 3 to 1. في 3 to 2 وفي 4 to 3.
3 to 2.
Yes, yes.
3 to 2.
3 to 1 هذه البلوك.
No. 3 to 2.
Yeah. Right. So there is a group beating here. So whenever you see a group beating, means that you are dealing with mob type 1. Okay. Now, in this ECG, what else do you have? Okay. SD elevation, minimal elevation. Here maybe there is no. Poor value of progression. And what about this? What about the end of the rhythm strip? يعني ما معقول يصير واحد عنده موبس تايب 1 وموبس تايب 2 في نفس الاي سي جي. No way. إذا كومبليت معناها إنه أول حاجة يكون عندك البيز لاين ريجولار ار انترفال، هذه نمبر 1. والنمبر 2 إنه يكون ما في ريليشن شيب بين البي والكي ار اس. Here at the beginning and even at the end, there is a relationship between the PR and the KRS. Non-conductive PLC. Are you sure? It's not. Doesn't look like it. 2 to 1. طيب إذا قلنا 2 to 1 معناها تحتمل either morbid type 1 or morbid type 2. So Zubair said that this one is 2 to 1. By definition, it's 2 to 1. Every 2 P waves has 1 KRS. So those 3 KRSs here تحتمل أنها تكون morbid type 1 or morbid type 2. From this ECG, can we know this is morbid type 1 or morbid type 2?
Yes.
Yes. Because this patient has shown to us that he is morbid type 1. Okay. If we see only this, you might not be able to know just only by the ECG. Okay.
How do we code it, doctor?
Well, coding whatever. طبعا definitely ما حيجيب لك الحاجة اللي هي فيها two things in one rhythm strip. Yes.
There is a hyperacute T wave in the inferior, lead 3, and even prolonged QT, and there is T wave changes in
Yes.
lateral. This
Yes.
is ischemia. Could be resolution of the inferior STEMI with
It's
respiratory.
still a possibility. Still a possibility, but you have to put whatever findings you have to put it, but you should not exceed 4 findings. This ECG has a lot of findings, but you are not allowed in the exam to put more than 4 findings.
I mean, for the block, it could be Mobitz type. I mean, type 1 or type 2.
لا هنا by definition it's type 1.
Yes.
By definition.
The first one.
By definition it's type 1, but as that this patient has the ECG here, while he's having this, then it's definitely Mobitz type 1 because we do see it. That the patient, the same patient, has Mobitz type 1 with 2 to 1. Okay, what about this?
Lupus one.
I think after 4 months we'll stop for the break.
Lupus one.
Mobitz type
One.
1. Why did he say that?
Progressive prolongation.
Progressive prolongation of the PR interval till you have the drop. Okay, you could see the drop happens maybe at the 9 beats. It's not always to have it in the 2nd or 3rd or 4th. You might have very long later. What do you think about this? 2 to 1. Can you say this is Mobitz type 1 or Mobitz type 2 based on the CCG?
No.
Okay. So you could see that the RR intervals are regular and the PP intervals are regular, and there is every QRS is being preceded by 2 P waves. What do you think about this?
Complete.
Complete block. The RR intervals are regular and there is AV dissociation. You could see the P waves are not matching each other. Here. This is clear flutter, okay? This is the way that you should see the flutter wave. The flutter wave, if you can concentrate on the P wave here, the beginning, the initial half of it is down sloping, and the other half is up. So it's not typical. Both sides are not typical. So this is the coming as a sawtooth appearance, okay? Now, in this ECG, what do you think about this? This is the P wave or P wave or H? Are you sure? Who can say 100% this is the QRS? 100%.
Yes.
What to do? How to do? Okay. Just put the line and see what is there. Up. Okay. So always, because these are done in the same timing of the recording. Okay. So whatever happens here has to happen here, has to happen here, has to happen here. If you have a low voltage, but it's not a true low voltage. Low voltage, unless you have low voltage here, you could call it low voltage. Okay.
Also bradycardia.
Hmm? Yeah, bradycardia is another one. Which one, sorry?
The amplitude of AVL S wave in AVL is less than
AVL this one, but here عندك هذه 15. Yes. What do you think about this? Type 2. Type 2. Are you sure?
No, yeah, type.
Fix PR, PR. Then drop. It's Mobitz type 1 or 2?
1.
Sure, 1 or 2? طيب نكبرها لكم شوية. The one before the pose is definitely longer than. So if you have only this piece of the ECG, you should be able to tell this is Mobitz type 1 or Mobitz type 2. Okay? So from the beginning, it's almost fixed VR interval here. At the time of this block, it's just only see the one before and the one after. If this one is shorter than this one, this is definitely Mobitz type 1. What do you think about this? Which type is this? Type 1 or 2? Type 1. Type 1. Type 2. Complete. So you have to match, put a paper, and just run it, move it. You'll find that's regular. Then the P waves are there, and it has nothing to do with the QRS. Okay, so there is an AV dissociation completely. So it is complete AV block. How long for this? 5:20. I think we have to go for prayer, and we'll come back.